All right, students, I hope you copied down those definitions in your homework notebook. As we get going, we're starting a new section on how plants basically get and use energy. And by the end of class today, we're going to be able to answer, how do organisms get and use energy? Now, today we're going to focus solely on plants, and in the next day or so, we're going to be looking at plants, or animals rather. So we won't be fully able to answer this question today, but we'll be able to answer how plants get energy, and to some extent how they use it as well. All right, in short, plants get energy from the sun. And you've already written down some of these definitions. They do this through the process of photosynthesis. So plants use the energy in the sunlight to make food, water, and carbon dioxide. So what all of that works together to make our sugars that the plant uses. And we're going to go through the process of how photosynthesis works. From the start here, you can see there's the sunflower, and it has these broad leaves. Broad means flat. And they collect sunlight, and the leaves also, plants breathe in carbon dioxide, and they exhale oxygen. So these plants, they take the sunlight in, make it into energy. They breathe in carbon dioxide, and the roots bring in water. So that's how a plant gets its food. In return, it exhales oxygen and produces sugars. So in that first step, the flat leaves collect sunlight. So these are almost transparent. And you can see the veins on it. The veins are carrying water to the different parts of the leaf. So these broad leaves collect the sunlight. They're like big solar panels. Inside the leaves, the chloroplast, which is basically where the photosynthesis takes place, absorbs the sunlight. And we don't need to know like the makeup of these cells, of these specific chloroplast cells, but this is what it basically looks like here. You have this chloroplast cell, and inside the chloroplast is chlorophyll. Don't confuse the two. Chlorophyll is what actually makes the food inside the chloroplast. So here's an example of a cell. The little green dots are the chloroplast. So the rest of this is the chlorophyll. So it's enlarged there. And down here, this is the actual chlorophyll. And inside, we don't need to know the minutia of that. But we do need to know that inside the chloroplast, the chlorophyll traps the sun's energy and makes it into those sugars. At the same time, the roots of a plant are collecting water and minerals, because there's minerals that they need to absorb. As it does that, the water travels up the stem in something called the xylem. So the xylem is the somewhat woody tissue that carries the minerals and salts and water through the plant. And then it's different in each plant. There's some vascular plants, which mean they're kind of hollow. And then there's the woody plants that have these tubes that act as straws where it goes up. So that travels up the xylem. That's how you say that word, xylem. The leaves at the same time collect carbon dioxide through the stomata. So the stomata if you picture your skin, when you sweat, where does the sweat come from? Well, it comes from the pores in your skin. You have little holes in your skin that allow that sweat to go through. In a leaf, there's little holes in the surface or the skin of the leaf that breathes in the carbon dioxide. And they do that, those little holes are called the stomata. So the cells are able to work so through the stomata, water doesn't get released. It's just letting in the carbon dioxide. So, I mean, we don't need to know the exact way that works, but have a good idea of that. All right, so the water from the roots, the carbon dioxide that the leaves breathe in, and the light energy, basically what happens in photosynthesis, combine to make sugar and oxygen. So that's pretty cool. In it, there's a chemical reaction that changes the carbon dioxide to oxygen. So just like in your own lungs, we breathe in oxygen and release carbon dioxide, and the plants do the exact reverse. But it's a combination of sugar or sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. And what does it produce? Oxygen and sugar. So then the oxygen leaves through the stomata. So just like you breathe in through your mouth or your nose, you breathe in the oxygen, you exhale carbon dioxide. Plants work just the opposite. Through the stomata, they more or less inhale or breathe in the carbon dioxide. They collect it, absorb it would probably be the better way to say it. And then the oxygen is released the opposite way. So then those sugars are transported to the rest of the plant through the phloem. We're not really going to worry too much about the phloem. It's different. It's kind of like a different tube than what the xylem is. But the phloem, maybe we should have phloem. Memo to myself. You're already watching this. You know the phloem is one of the words you need to know. So the phloem carries those sugars and nutrients to the rest of the plant. All right, so then this is basically a model of it. Well, they get the leaves absorb the sunlight and the carbon dioxide. Then the roots get the water and the minerals, and then it releases and makes oxygen and sugars. So the product of what is produced by photosynthesis, the breathing in of carbon dioxide through the stomata and the water, are sugars and oxygen. All right, we're going to stop there for right now. So to answer our question, how do plants get energy and how do they use it? Plants get energy through the process called photosynthesis, in which they collect sunlight and convert it. First they combine it with carbon dioxide and water and convert it into sugars and oxygen. And it uses those sugars to grow. That's how plants get and use energy.